In today's video, we're once again going to be taking a look here at the upcoming pattern as we just dive into all of this modeled guidance. There is a whole lot to go over as there is multiple upcoming storms that really look to pose a big severe weather risk. So we really need to watch these closely. And we will be throughout the video, so be sure to take notes of those dates. I'll try to make those pretty clear, and then also just the factors and locations here as we just dive into everything. Let's just move this towards this afternoon here on Tuesday, March 28th. We're already approaching April. I can't believe it. We do have a major storm system moving onshore to the northwest, and this is bringing snowfall to Oregon and California. Also rainfall in the more coastal and lower lying areas as well. We also have this line of thunderstorms still taking place as there is a bit of a frontal boundary down here through the southeast and areas also in southern Texas, as far southward as what I would call central Mexico there, very, very far down. We do have some activity taking place. As we just glide towards Wednesday, March 29th here, we could see a major trough beginning to take place here for areas out west. This is causing a pretty dramatic ridge just to the east of there, and then we can see things kind of flattening out as we head just a little bit further eastward than there. Overall, it is apparent that there's a lot of warm air surging here, a lot of cold air sinking here to the west, and there is some moderate push of warm air taking place, but it's pretty flattened out as there is an equal kind of push of cold air here. So the jet stream ends up doing something like this. That is what we're taking a look at. We are going to watch for a low to take place here in between these two air masses as we have the, again, cold air moving down southward here on the western end. The warm air moving here on the eastern end. We'll look for a low to take place in between there. And that's when things are really going to pick up. So by the time we're taking a look at Thursday, we begin to see this low develop. We see the jet stream doing this around it. So we see something like this taking place. We see the warm, humid air rushing through the central plains here, and even as far eastward as the Ohio Valley here for some folks. And then we see the cold air really trying to work its way in and push forward. This is going to develop a cold front underneath, a warm front up above, and this will be the setup. We're watching these areas here of very humid thunderstorms already developing by Thursday afternoon, but it's really Friday afternoon that we're watching very closely as we see this low is now over Iowa. We're going to see a cold front developing underneath it, a warm front up above, so we will have the very warm, humid air out ahead. And that is going to really encourage development of severe thunderstorms. And then underneath along that cold front that we drew here, along Texas, Kansas, and Oklahoma, we're going to begin to see severe weather. But it's really this evening that we're looking at here, not this evening from the time I'm making this video, but Friday evening on the 31st here, where we begin to see severe weather develop here along all of this. So for areas in Illinois, Missouri, I don't know why I said that so weird, Missouri there, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, even Alabama here, we're seeing some of that developing. Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, we're watching all of these areas for severe weather. And this is actually going to continue through the night and likely bring thunderstorms all the way to the East Coast here as this cold front kind of arrives. We have a 982 there, low pressure center, and we have that warm front up above. A very interesting setup, and this does give way to some pretty brief cold air in the east, as now the jet stream after that storm moves out is doing just about like this. So this does allow for some cold air to move in for a time here right around Saturday, Sunday, April 1st, April 2nd time frame. As we keep this going, we're going to move towards April 3rd, which will be Monday here. And we already see another trough moving into the west. And this allows for, again, warm air to surge here through the central and the eastern United States. So we're seeing a fair share of warmth here for a lot of these areas. And then cold air really working its way in through this trough. That is the look. And again, we're going to be watching for another low to take place in here. So let's watch by Tuesday here. What we see happen is overnight Monday into Tuesday, we have a 984 here. We're going to watch for a cold front, warm front dynamic to start taking place here. Let's just keep going and look at that same exact location, 983. We're going to be watching Tuesday into Wednesday. That's going to be the 4th into the 5th there for another severe weather event in very similar areas here underneath this whole low, because we have a cold front moving through here, a warm front up here, which means the warm air is surging out ahead of all of this. And in general, Iowa, Missouri there, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Wisconsin, perhaps, Indiana even, and then even Alabama. We're going to be watching all of these states for another round of severe weather. And then as you can see, as we reach Monday afternoon, things even worsen potentially, or at least they maintain their badness here. We see all the way through, again, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, North Carolina, multi-state severe weather outbreak potentially. And then Wednesday into Thursday of next week, what we see is overnight, we see some thunderstorms taking place in here underneath this cold front that's extending down, as you can see. This is also going to bring another shot of cold air with it, but it should be very brief once again. And even here, this is kind of getting crazy, but by the 6th, 7th time frame, at the very end of this model run, we have once again this same dynamic. If you've paid very close attention, you know this is kind of what's been causing things to start up like this. We have the cold air rushing southward there, the warm air rushing in. And if we see a low develop once again in between those two air masses, we could just see it do the same thing where it moves up just like this, the low. Warm front develops, cold front, and then we would have another round 3 of severe weather here in the upcoming pattern. Certainly a very, very active look here from the models. Once we take a look at this total precipitation, it's pretty evident we're going to have these storm systems starting out on the west coast, bringing high amounts of precipitation here. We see them move across this area. They really take off here over these pockets, and then they move northward, something like this, bringing that extension of cold front and severe weather potential underneath here the whole way through. Certainly, again, a very interesting pattern, and the snowfall tells the full story as well. The jet stream likely going to be doing this a majority of the model run, but not only that, we have these storms moving onshore, and then you can kind of just tell where they're going to be moving, something like this, because we get snowfall on the northern and western ends of that low. And then underneath here where there's no snow, again, that's where those cold fronts and severe weather are going to be taking place through these 2, potentially even upcoming 3 severe weather events. I want to see how much agreement we get here from the GFS model. So let's see storm number 1. This really just takes hold here. Same exact look. We get a strong 979 millibar low pressure center there. Very intense. Cold front taking place. Not only that, this warm front causing the surging warm air. And again, severe weather where this cold air is trying to rush in through the south and west of all of this. This is going to be a pretty bad setup, guys. Not only that, but we also need to watch for storm number 2 here, which our GFS model also has taking place here. Again, the 4th into the 5th, Tuesday into Wednesday as a 987. We'll be watching that cold front, warm front dynamic, but right now it looks pretty low precipitation. But look at that. It really takes off over the deeper south, even through Tennessee, Kentucky, and into the Ohio Valley here. Something like this would be what we're watching for Wednesday into Thursday, 5th into the 6th. And that even reaches the East Coast there by Thursday afternoon there on the 6th. Just like the European model, we get this cold air rushing in for a brief period here after all of that is said and done. But now let's see, once we get into the extended range, what we end up seeing. And we do get a couple of storm systems there. These don't look as bad as those 2 before, but we do have a bit of a cold front, warm front dynamic maybe here, causing some thunderstorm and severe weather activity underneath. That remains to be known, really, and we need to just wait and see. This could become a bit of a gradient snowstorm, causing some inland snowfall later on, but take that with a grain of salt, as that is pretty far out on this GFS model, which gets us a very extended range, but the accuracy drops off pretty far. But it is correct, I always say, about 1 every 5 times, and that's just accurate enough to where we do need to pay attention to it. I wish it was almost less accurate, because then we could just totally disregard it, but it's just good enough to where we have to pretty much pay attention to what it is saying, because there is that once in a blue moon chance that it is correct. The European model is correct much more than the GFS model, in my opinion and from my experience, and that European model is going to be correct about 3 out of every 5 times. So you're still, it's still just a model, and it's not going to be perfect, but it does have better than 50% accuracy. from my experience, and does tend to be a really good model, best in the world in my opinion. Be sure to subscribe. We will track all of these things every single day for you guys. I really want everybody to take note of these certain dates that I kind of pinpointed there for potential severe weather outbreaks. I think we're moving into a pattern that looks highly favorable for severe weather outbreaks, unfortunately, and that does include tornado outbreaks, so we need to be on the lookout for that as well. Always pay attention to the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service, as they have the best life-saving information available on those websites. You're going to want to really pay attention to that. But be sure to subscribe to our channel as well, as we will be taking daily looks at all of this and just kind of tracking the trends as we move along. You can even hit that bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to also like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.